Hello, guys. Welcome to UK Dreamers again. In today's video, we'll be talking about a very unique topic, which is the Masters in Public Health in the UK, which you guys have been asking, and I had no idea. So, I've got someone who will enlighten us about this path. So, without further ado, welcome Dr. Ankita Misra, who's also a international medical graduate from India, and she's going to enlighten us. Ankita, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here and all the work that you do at UK Dreamers. I've been following you for a while, so this feels like full circle moment.
Thanks, Ankita. So, tell us a bit about yourself, Ankita.
Well, like you summed it up very well. I'm an IMG as well, and I'm pursuing my clinical pathway. But along that way, I decided to take a little bit of a pause, a chapter to start my MPH, to pursue my MPH before I get back into it. So thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for having me here. And like a very good student, I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation, but a very short one, so that it can just guide our conversation, have a little bit more free flowing, and it's just easier for I think people to understand a little bit of my journey. So I'm just gonna share my screen now.
I think it
And
also shows the enthusiasm that you have to make the video, to be honest.
no, I really was enthusiastic because just like you, so many people have been have been asking me the same question about like why an MPH, why now, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So I think you can see my screen now.
absolutely. Go ahead,
Oh,
please.
perfect. So to start off, I wanted to talk about unlocking the potential that a person has, that every doctor has within themselves, especially international medical graduates. We go through a lot, tougher hours, more patient load, more training, but that gives us a huge, I think, a huge boon in terms of the skills that we have. And so the degree that I am pursuing right now is what I can feel is like a transformative power of that potential that I already had. So, a little bit about me is I completed my MBBS in 2022 from Pune, and followed by, well, a year of postgraduate license exam prep. I was doing the USMLE, I was doing PLAB, and so on and so forth, which is obviously an important year because COVID duty really clouded our internship. It was very difficult for, I think, most people in my batch across India to get through these exams. And after that, I spent a year working as a non resident medical officer in the Department of Medicine in Mumbai while I was doing my applications for a master's in public health. Now, throughout my MBBS medical college career, I was always very passionate about research, about health policy, about advocacy, because very soon I realized that I didn't want to be the kind of doctor who complained about administration. I care deeply about clinical medicine. I still wish to pursue it, but I wanted a perspective on how health systems work. I wanted a perspective on how administration works because all of this works together. A hospital is a system of people at all different levels working together for like holistic treatment of a patient, and which is why I decided to then pursue an MPH. I wanted to gain experience within this industry, within governments, and employ the learnings that I learned there when I returned to clinical medicine. And in my opinion, coming into this degree, I knew that public health was the future. It's something that gained a lot of traction because of the pandemic, because the COVID pandemic was, of course, it was a very trying time for everyone in the world, and public health professionals were at the forefront of it. So it gained a lot of traction then, but it's always been there, whether it was the cholera epidemic from years ago, centuries ago, or the future, if there are any other pandemics that hopefully we don't have to go through, it is the past, present, and future. And which is why I decided to do an MPH. So a little bit about like how the MPH is in the UK. So an MPH in most countries in the world is almost always a 2 year program or a 1.5 year program. But in the UK, it is an intensive 1 year master's in most colleges. And this comprehensive training is aligned with different UK standards, which used to be Public Health England and so on and so forth. So the MPH programs offer training which are aligned with the national public health standards. So the curriculum that is followed within this year, it is mapped to the public health register and the registrar standards as well. And a lot of public health professionals can actually pursue a public health specialization after the same. And of course, they'd have a year lesser because an MPH has already been acquired. And that's also a potential route that a lot of graduates can take. And the training that we have right now, it covers a lot of key frameworks. The public health skills and knowledge that I'm talking about over here are lots of different things. We study the foundations of healthcare systems. We understand how they're developed, how they can be improved, how human rights participants in research can be coalesced and ethics can be maintained. We study in extensive detail on health systems and policy, the financing of different health systems, the involvement of key stakeholders, whether that is the public, whether it is someone from the government, whether it's someone from an organization, NGOs, etc., how they function, what we need to bring forward to them with our expertise and what we need to unlock from their end. So it's a very comprehensive, it's a very intense course, and there's not much room for well, to take a breath, but it has been very rewarding. And the next slide will tell us more on why I particularly as an IMG and a clinical medicine doctor am so excited about this program. What I'm experiencing, and a lot of my batchmates are as well, as they are also doctors, they're also dentists, is the fact that there is an enhanced clinical understanding and a deeper understanding of diseases and of health as an overall spectrum that we are able to understand while studying public health. Every single disease is of public health importance. That is something that everyone needs to take away from. When we study communicable or non-communicable diseases, we have this we have this understanding that it's medicine, but it's really not. Because it is medicine when the patients come to you, which is they're already sick, they're already requiring some treatment of sorts. But public health is everything up until then, which apparently, as for statistics have to say, contributes to 70% of health. It's healthcare providers that provide 30% of health, which makes sense. So, public health helps you gain a deeper understanding on the epidemiology of diseases. What even is epidemiology? We just study it for one semester in med school. We don't study it in extensive detail. We don't understand the importance of comparing larger populations with smaller populations. We don't understand and study the interactions of agents, of hosts, of the environments. If you want to choose an infectious diseases stream in clinical medicine, then that is something you can specialize during your MPH as well. Because when you do an MPH, you can choose different streams like global health, health policy, infectious diseases, statistics. There are lots of different streams that you can specialize in. You learn about disease transmission there, you learn about natural history, you learn about wider determinants of health. Because a lot of health, especially as you would understand from India, we have a huge dependence on the socio-economic classes to to understand that there are difference in disease distribution, and that is understandable when there is a skewed balance between private healthcare and government healthcare. So all of these things are different wider determinants, whether educated classes are better responsive to vaccination, we don't know. So it's like that there's a lot more of a deeper and enriched understanding to clinical issues, which I think this MPH is providing a very, very good explanation for. And finally, last but not the least, is there's so much conversation on global health innovation, on business, on the commercial determinants of health. And that is what I consider the great beyond. I am yet to dive into that in term two, but I'm very, very excited about that as well. So it's been a great um, it's been a great experience so far. So Moving on to the next slide, which is a global health perspective. This is again something I've been very excited about because interacting with professionals from diverse countries, I have over 50, 60 countries worth of classmates and different areas of expertise, and with some of them similar areas of expertise, which is very interesting to see because you then understand the health needs of populations in local and global contexts, which is so important for doctors because we all enter this field thinking we can make a difference, we can change the world, and we make very little tangible differences. This shows you how you can transform that potential that I was talking about into a larger global health perspective. So, when you learn to understand how health services can be strengthened on the basis of international systems, something that in another system may work for you, something that in your system may work for them, that is global health, in my opinion. And this degree has been very, very informative for me to understand that we're all one set of diverse professionals in healthcare looking for universal healthcare coverage, looking for a disease free world, looking for the end of the end of poverty stricken diseases as we wanted. So it's been very, very rewarding to learn from people and to have conversations where we're all learning from each other. And more importantly, it's also helping us to prepare for public health careers anywhere in the world, because health everywhere in the world is the same. We are all working towards the same goal, and so that's been very exciting to see as well. Finally, my last slide, because I don't want to keep talking, is what beyond a Masters of Public Health? So, when anyone hears the words public health, their immediate answer becomes, oh, you can work at the WHO, or you can work at the UN, or you can work at this international organization or that. Well, you can, yes. And that is a very, very lucrative, very exciting thing to look forward to. It's been a personal dream of mine as well, someday to work. I have spent years trying to get different certifications, attend different conferences, do debate. So that's been a big dream of mine. So, and it's something I will pursue hopefully in the future as well, knock on wood. But it is something that you can look for beyond a Masters of Public Health. And it's more important to understand, however, that that's not the only thing that one can do, because a lot of my professors are different advisors or to different organizations. They have their own practices, public health practices. They are registrars. They are affiliated to different hospitals, because public health is everywhere. It's literally everywhere, whether it's a tobacco cessation clinic, whether it is sexual health clinic. They are everywhere, and they are at the heart of every single thing that is healthcare. So the skills that you end up developing in general are what one should focus on, rather than what beyond. Is that any skills that you develop over here, whether it's statistics, whether it's presenting, whether it is research, which is so important. And we've spent the last 10 weeks now learning how to absolutely write the perfect mixed methods or qualitative or quantitative research paper. And those are the skills that help for any general career progression. And so that is very important to understand as a huge takeaway from an MPH. But then you also can gain experience through projects with local public health teams. So a lot of people do short term, 3 month, 6 month projects. And of course, as I had mentioned earlier, it improves your chances of securing public health specialty training program to work towards that as a specialty training program. And or else you could just go the, I wouldn't say non-altruistic route, but you could go the corporate consultancy route, which is also very important. Help the development of primary healthcare clinics and different. Different corporations have a lot of public health work that they do as well, and that is something that I have observed and searched on LinkedIn and interacted with people and found out. Because I would like to end with this, I'm still new to this and learning more every day, but I am very excited about what lies ahead for me after my Masters of Public Health. And so far, I've really enjoyed the journey. So thank you for hearing what I had to say, and excited to have the conversation with you now. I will stop sharing my screen.
Oh, so you've actually persuaded everyone to do a MPH now, man.
I I hope so. I hope people understand that it's a very important aspect that's very underlooked.
Mhm.
Not people should be more excited about this, in my
Okay.
opinion.
So yeah, I'm gonna challenge you on few things now, which you will feel definitely trickle your brain. So as Ankita rightly said, it will open your ways if you want to do public health in the UK, which is another run through program along with general practice. It's just not public health in the UK. But one thing which I think even Ankita you might not be aware is if for instance like I'm a medical trainee, right? Many of you youngsters who would do your IMTs, the core training, internal medicine training, and then you would apply for the higher specialty, like for someone would apply gastro, cardio, whatever. So there is a section if you've actually done a MD or a post graduation, which carries 4 marks, followed by a section if you've done some form of post graduation, which is 8 months and more. And I think MPH will fit into that area,
Yeah,
and
I
it will
didn't
give you
want to
three
talk
marks.
about that. Yeah, it gives you so I yeah, that if we have to specifically talk about IMGs looking to pursue it, yes, I did consider doing an MPH later on in my career as well. But what you just said is what motivated me to actually pursue it before I started my training for a portfolio boost. And I just personally don't think that that was the biggest motivating factor for me, but it was definitely a pro on the list of do it before or after. Because there's never a right or a wrong time to do it, honestly. It's just what works for somebody better. Because
Absolutely. So, three challenging points or three challenging, what to say, challenges that you faced during, moving from India to the UK.
Well, firstly, I think it's not easy. The application processes are not easy. And I remember having to juggle the application process alongside PLAB 1 prep and work. So I used to have extremely long days. So if you're looking forward to applying for an MPH, know that it's very competitive now. It's not an easy program to apply for, and it requires months and months of research to understand whether a university is right for you, whether it has the modules that are right for you as well. Because the university I'm at right now is right for me because after I got my offers from, well, the other universities I got into, I spent a lot of time actually researching and looking up for months on end to decide which was right for me, because some of them sound very beautiful and perfect and everything, but may not have the right things that'll help you unlock what you need to know or what may contribute to your clinical career. Some may be statistics or quantitative heavy, which is difficult for us to like work with. Because I mean, the last time I studied math was in 11th standard, and I'm literally like I had to pass a mathematics test for to be able to qualify to take one of my mandatory modules here in health economics. So it's not easy. I had to spend like a month studying calculus and doing all of these things. That was one that was a big challenge. Number two, I never thought I would be in London. So this was already like a very, it was very new to see this, like to see this pathway emerge for me. And I think as a challenge, it made me realize one major thing, which is that obstacles should be treated as like not boulders but stepping stones. Because now, like 5 6 months later, when I'm here right now, I feel like okay, this is the right place for me. There's a lot more to understand. The third challenge, I don't know, but I think it's just things are very fast paced here. You need to learn how to balance things very well. So I know that even with my extremely like overthinking, neurotic, timetable managing everything, it's still overwhelming. This is not an easy course. Like I would not let anyone just jump into this thinking it's a vacation degree or it's like a nice sweet masters. It's not. It's a 2 years degree. In most countries in the world, it's only in the UK where it's a year. So there's no time off. My entire Christmas break is going to be working on 3 assignments, 2 exams, more to look forward later on, presentations. It's very intense. So I think you need, like, people need to be prepared for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for actually giving the insight into it because, yeah, to most of the people, if like with the current job market in the UK, people think, oh, let me do this master's, it'll open doors for me, oh, it'll be easy, it'll be a piece of cake. But the way you're describing, I don't think it's going to be a piece of cake at all.
It's absolutely not. And I think a lot of people do, like when a lot of like people that I know as well consider an MSc or a master's degree as, it's not a gateway. It's a gate that, so that's the thing. Any opportunity will present itself to you later if you're working towards it, and that requires a lot of efforts. It's not easy. Even getting into like the best colleges right now, it doesn't matter if you yourself are not doing your best there, if you yourself are not pushing yourself, and that requires a lot of effort. So one shouldn't be, I think, one shouldn't be very lackluster about it or just take it easy or not attend, because well, attendance is another issue. You need to, people come here and get very excited about the fact that attendance is not noted. Like in India, we have to go because there's an attendance requirement. Here there isn't, but you should go because you learn more from classroom interactions than marks or grades. You learn more about the people that you're working with because they're from all walks of life. I have people from corporate sectors, business sectors who have done a health major, someone's from psychology. So you're getting like a very enriched thing, and doctors are very closed off. In my opinion, I think you would understand that too. We don't see beyond our single one line path that we take. So yeah, that's
I think the way medicine is designed throughout the world is to restrict doctors from doing multiple tasks or having a portfolio career. We are essentially destined in a way that all you need to do is care for patients and that's it. You shouldn't be seeing anything else. So I think what you've done is quite commendable because you're juggling with your PLAB exams, you're doing your MPH, you're thinking a bit ahead of time, which is what we need to do. And I think as IMGs, the pressure is more on us because yes, we have to prove so many people wrong, isn't it? In a way.
That's what you're saying is absolutely correct, because I've noticed this as well, that the negative competition will get us nowhere, because you're just doing things to prove other people wrong or other people right even. And what you said is just to show people that we've achieved something. That is not going to get you to any personal satisfaction or any personal goal achievement feelings of joy and excitement, because you're not doing anything for someone else. You're not doing you should ideally be doing life for yourself. And I feel like in the UK you do have the opportunity to do so much. For example, look at your career with the NHS clinical entrepreneur side, which with all of that, that is something that gives you that extra jump in the morning every single day, because we have very difficult careers in general. They're not easy, they're not happy, they're draining. So you need something to be able to give you that extra motivation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Ankita, to wrap it up, take home points for the guys and girls who just, as I said, who are just thinking MPH as a side hustle, or, in short, like, would you encourage them? Would you not encourage them? What would you ask them to prepare from day one?
Well, take home points. Number one, when you're applying for any masters, whether it's for an MPH or anything aligned to that, always remember that they're going to look at you as an individual. No one here will care about you having a bunch of distinctions if they don't see that you learned something from it. So when you look back and you look at research that you may have done, any charity work you would have done, it's what did you learn as a person? How did you evolve? So, number one, your applications have to be you. You don't want to impress anyone, you need to impress them by being yourself. It's they just want to see you and whether you're a good fit. So don't try to pretend to be someone you're not. Number two, do this MPH if you're really really passionate and understanding about the wider scope of health, and that is important. Don't try to be another doctor that will enter the system and then complain about it if you don't want to change it. You don't want to be an armchair activist. You want to be an actual activist, a doctor who's being able to make the same calls that you wish someone else would. So have the motivation to be able to do that, because we all do. We all have a voice that deserves to be heard. Then, number three is, this is not an easy course. So be prepared for that. But be prepared that if you choose to take this route, it'll be very, very rewarding. There is not a single day that I don't think that this is the right place for me to be or the right degree for me to do, because I am only one term in. I still have another term and a dissertation left, but I can already see that I've changed so much as a person. My thinking has changed so much. My research skills have developed so much that I know that if I had to just take away the learnings from this and employ that in my clinical decisions in the future, there'll be a diametrical change. There will be an evolution of my skills before and after this degree. It's not like I hadn't worked with patients earlier, it's just I know better now. And then number 4, remember that yes, you as a doctor have a lot of potential, especially as an IMG. We're very smart and we deserve to be here. We deserve our brains to be utilized to their potential, and it will help you, this degree.
That's a very different perspective. I just loved it, man, because the way you presented it. Because I've seen people like interacting and coming to the channel, and then as you said, complaining about it, and you didn't bring any of those, man. You were bang on positive. You brought in loads of reflections in terms of adapting here, learning here, and you've given a very very good summary to the guys and girls who want to do something different. Yes, MPH is an option for you, but you have to be passionate. I always say this: you have to be passionate for anything you do, man. Even going into the hospital, driving your car, anything, it needs your effort into it. And you have brilliantly summarized all of those things into this. So thank you so much, Ankita. So, guys and girls, if you've got any comments or you've got any queries, do drop in the comment section. We'll try to get back to you. And yeah, and keep following the channel. Thanks, Ankita. Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you here.
Much, Dr. Sharma. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thanks. Bye.